Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. The vibes are good. It's a new year, it's a new month. I have an iced coffee with some cinnamon in it. My room is nice and clean and tidy and decluttered, which I'll be getting into in another video that's going to come next week. I'm wearing this shirt that I made. It says, "It's no use, Joe."
No, no.
It's no use, Joe.
Please
Joe, we've
don't.
got to have it out.
No,
I have
Teddy.
loved you ever since I've known you, Joe. I couldn't help it. And I tried to show and you wouldn't let me, which is fine.
No.
But I must make you here now and give me an answer because I cannot go on like this any
Teddy,
longer.
please.
I saw a shirt like this on like Pinterest or TikTok or something, and instead of buying it, I made one. That's a bit similar, isn't it? Here in the beautiful state of South Carolina, it is a crisp 70 degrees on this January day, which is not good, but it does feel nice for me right now. Today, we're going to talk about my New Year's goals for 2026. I only have 4 of them. When it comes to New Year's resolutions, less is truly more, right? Like, no one is sticking to a 20 bullet point long list of things that they're gonna do in the new year. But for my New Year's goals, they're more like intentions. None of these are super specific, but I thought it'd be fun to make a video chatting about them. I also wrote about this on my Substack, so there's like a blog that you can read, and then if you want to watch the video and the blog, they both offer different things but same topic, if you know what I mean. Why do I keep that's like a tick today for some reason? I keep doing the British accent. Anyways, so without further ado, let's get into it. My first goal for 2026 is called "You Need to Nerd Out." I don't know if you guys have ever heard that audio. I think it's from a YouTube video or something that's like, "You need to nerd out."
I urge you to be interested in something. I dare you to have the guts to stand in front of a room of people and nerd out. You need to nerd out. But if you're a nerd and you have passion and you love the things, media, art, that you just can't live without in your life, nerd out about it. Nerd out about it. Talk to friends about it. Talk to your parents about it, bro. If they don't want to listen, find people who will. Find people who share the joy.
But that is one of my big goals going into the new year. I feel like I wrote a little bit about this in my blog, but I feel like for too long I've held the belief that I'm just not super smart. Oh, that sounds so bad when I say it out loud. Not that I'm not smart, just that I'm a bit slow, if you will. I feel like I can be smart. It just takes me longer to get there than maybe it does for some other people. So whatever that insecurity is, or maybe that's not actually true and I just feel that way and I have a normal speed of learning. But regardless, I feel like because of that, maybe in the past I've just kind of told myself that I'm not going to learn beyond what I needed to do to get the right grades in school and college and everything like that. And now that I'm out of college, I graduated this year. Well, I will have graduated 2 years ago, which is crazy. But I've come to realize that I really miss learning, and especially structured learning. And since graduating, I've tried to seek out that structured learning in any way that I can. So maybe I am actually smarter than I'm giving myself credit. I do really like to learn and I want to keep learning even though I'm not in school. I've seen a lot of people on social media post about like the personal curriculum, like giving yourself a curriculum to follow month to month or week to week, and you can kind of assign yourself like assigned readings and essays and things like that, which I guess this goal is sort of like that. I don't think I'm going to set anything quite as regimented as like a personal curriculum, but I do have some specific goals with you need to nerd out. Firstly, I want to keep learning about things and researching things and then taking those to Substack or to YouTube and just continuing to share um, my thoughts and opinions and whatnot and try to stretch my writing muscle with the blog and even just with journaling as much as I can. I want to voice my curiosities not only when I'm having conversation with other people and discussing complex topics, but also writing about them and learning more about them in my spare time and just really embracing my curiosity. I wrote in the blog about how I am tired of the it's not that deep culture or like who the fuck cares culture because ultimately everything is that deep. Everything is that deep if you look at it closely enough. And I have so many questions, and I am living in, well, we're all living in a time where our answers to those questions have never been more readily available. And I am just going to take advantage of that. I want to nerd out this year. Every little thing that I have questions about or I want to learn more about, I want to do that and not just let it slip by. So that's kind of the first component of this is being sort of a lifelong learner, if you will, and trying to be as educated on important topics or honestly unimportant topics as much as I can be. The second component to this is kind of getting more into my fantasy nerddom. Now, if you watched my YouTube video about the books that I read, I love fantasy books. And last year I didn't read as much fantasy as I would have liked, but I love the Court of Thorns and Roses series, which I'll talk more about in my next goal. But growing up, I loved to read fantasy. I loved like the Emily Winsnap books. I loved those little books with like the fairies on them. You know the ones I'm talking about. There's like 100 million of them. I read all of those. Rainbow Magic, yes, yes, yes. Magic Treehouse, I was big on all that. How to Train Your Dragon. And I feel like those core interests that I had as a child have transferred into adulthood, and I've become more in touch with that part of myself in the last couple years, like going to the Renaissance Fair, binge reading series like Fourth Wing and ACOTAR. There are just a couple of series that I feel like I haven't really gotten into the weeds of that are very mainstream and popular, and I feel like to be my best fantasy nerd self, I need to read those series. So I'm making it a goal this year. I would like to read Harry Potter, probably in the fall. I feel like that's more like a fall, winter read. I'm currently reading Chronicles of Narnia. I'm on the second book now, which that's going to be interesting because I think they stopped making movies after like the second or third book. So I really like I've seen those movies, but I haven't like I don't know anything that is going to happen after that. So I am excited to continue the series. Like Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. Again, like I've watched the movies, but have just never bothered to pick up the books, and I would like to. And then I would also love to delve a little bit more into the classics. Actually, for Christmas, my boyfriend's mom got me all of the Jane Austen like classic novels, so I'm gonna read those. And then after watching Frankenstein, I really have the urge to pick up like Frankenstein and Dracula just to honor all of the literature baddies that came before me. So that is goal number 1 is that you need to nerd out. Let me know in the comments what you nerd out about. It could be anything. You could nerd out about flowers. You could nerd out about skincare. You could nerd out when it comes to, if you're like a big movie person or film person, nerd out about that. I just think we all should be more nerdy, delve deeper into topics, and don't use ChatGPT to do it. Don't do it. Okay. Moving on. Goal number 2 is called Make the Sarah J. Maas female main characters proud. Now, I know that's a mouthful, so we can also use SJM for Sarah J. Maas and FMC for female main character, which is what I'm going to be using going forward. Now, one thing about me is I had an era, I've been through several like fitness eras, if you will. So, I guess towards like the tail end of high school, I was big into lifting, almost like powerlifting, I would say. Like I never competed or anything, but I was very like I made a fitness Instagram. I would lift like hundreds and hundreds of pounds on a weekly, almost daily basis. Now, I did, you know how Jenna Marbles talks about like her too much gene? I think sometimes I have the too much gene, and that definitely presented itself with exercise. And unfortunately, I did have to cut that out because it was becoming harmful for my reproductive health. Throughout college, I was a group fitness instructor, so I taught like dance fitness, strength classes, high intensity interval training, that kind of stuff. And I ran my first half marathon in 2023 and then my first full marathon in 2024. So I've dabbled in like long distance running. And then last year I got my yoga teacher certification. So I'm always sort of cycling through different realms of fitness. Okay. But anyways, circling back, I feel like I have definitely been lacking as far as like functional strength training, right? And how this circles into the Sarah J. Maas female main characters. Thank you so much for asking. So Sarah J. Maas is a popular fantasy writer. She is popular namely for the Court of Thorns and Roses series, the Throne of Glass series, and the Crescent City series, which I have read all of. She's a great author. She's a baddie. She's a 10. And she's known for writing very powerful female leads. And I just love reading her books because I feel so inspired by her lead characters. Her characters are known for enduring these very rigorous like training sessions and becoming these like badass fighters and just being like super strong. Aesthetic based workout goals don't really work for me personally. They used to, they don't anymore. So this goal for me is more about feeling like I could like hold my own in a fight, or like if I was being chased by the Minengard worm from A Court of Thorns and Roses, like I could run away. If I was trapped in a deep cavern, would I be able to climb out? These are things we need to think about, guys. Let's be realistic. No, but seriously, I feel like I want to get back to having at least like a base level of strength to where I don't feel so weak and defenseless. And let me tell you, we're about 1 week into January. I've done 2 like at home strength workouts so far, like nothing crazy, like resistance bands, less than 30 minutes. And I'm like, I'm sore. I'm so sore. And it's just a bit sad. It's a bit sad, guys. And I would like to get to a point where I feel stronger physically. But I would like to be in the routine of doing some form of resistance or strength training about 3 times a week, 3 to 4 times a week, and then doing some form of like cardio once a week. So whether that's going on a run, I take walks pretty much every day, but something a little bit higher intensity like a run or cycling or even swimming. Yeah, I just want to feel stronger. I want to feel more badass. I don't miss being in the gym like 6 days a week for 2 hours at a time. But I do miss feeling stronger and feeling like if someone tried to come at me, like I could take it. You know what I mean? And ultimately, you never know when your realm is going to depend on you to save the world. So you should just always be prepared just in case. All right, my third goal for 2026, I'm calling embrace santosha. So santosha is one of the niyamas. So in yoga philosophy, there are what's called the yamas and the niyamas. So there are 5 of each. And for my yoga teacher training, I actually had to read a book about the yamas and the niyamas. But santosha is one of the niyamas, and in Sanskrit, or in English, it can basically be translated to mean contentment. So finding peace with what is without complacency. So finding contentment not from a place of being complacent with your life, but just feeling at peace with what is. So I mean this for the upcoming year in a couple of different regards. I feel like for the past several years, I mean, really my whole life, but for the past several years, my life has been very sectioned in very specific goals, whether that was graduating high school and then graduating college, or finishing this semester, finishing this internship, or getting this job, or moving to this place, or doing this. It's been very sectioned, which I think can be helpful if you're a very goal oriented person, which I am, but it can also take you out of the day-to-day magical moments in your life and pull you out of being able to be in the present moment and experience that gratitude the way that you should be, or at least the way that I would like to be going forward. For this year, I am not saying that my goal is to be stagnant. Like, obviously, I do have some things that I would like to accomplish this year, but I am releasing, or at least trying to release, the rigidity of sticking to first I will do this, then I will do this, then I will do this, and then after that I will be happy or relax or take a break or whatever it is. Realizing that where I'm at right now, the people I have in my life, the things I have in my life, I have everything that I need, and I am content with what I have, and I am at peace. On the other side of this, I also want to apply it when it comes to material possessions. So this year, I'm making it a goal to hold to a pretty strict no buy rule when it comes to clothes and cosmetics. So I know some people do no buy years that are really strict, like they don't buy anything unless it is like a necessity or something that is a consumable, like toiletries, things like that. And when I say like I'm not buying any clothes this year, I am anticipating like a couple of purchases. Like I know that I'm at some point going to have to buy new running shoes. I will probably need to replace like my sandals this year, things that are getting worn down. But those are very specific things that I have in my mind, and I'm not going to let myself tiptoe outside of that rule. I'm going to be posting a video probably in the next week or two, where I did a full like Marie Kondo style deep clean, deep clutter of all my belongings, just so that I can start the new year fresh and without a bunch of excess clutter. From there, I'm really trying to just again come from that mindset of contentment and really appreciating the things that I do have, which like I have so much stuff, guys. Like even after doing my declutter, like I have so much stuff, like way more than any one person probably needs. And I'm sure like I will continue decluttering throughout the year and throughout my life or whatever. But yeah, I just think it's a lot easier to appreciate what you have when you have less, as far as like material things, if that makes sense. All right, and then my fourth and final goal for 2026, I am calling deliberate sensuality. This was actually inspired by a podcast episode that I listened to. It was the Wild Geese podcast, which is hosted by Anna Howard. Would highly, highly, highly recommend this podcast. It's one of my absolute favorites. In her podcast, Anna talks about sensuality and how we often confuse sensuality and sexuality, which even though they can be very intertwined, like the act of sex or feeling very sexy can be sort of the same as feeling very sensual. But sensuality is something entirely separate of its own. So it's really just about engaging with all of the senses. And in her podcast, and I listed these all in the blog post too, she talks about how we actually have a lot more than just those basic five senses. Some people think we have up to like 20 plus senses, but just getting deeply in tune with all of the experiences in our physical body. Again, I feel like I only turn to grounding through the senses when I'm in a mental state that is very anxious and fluttery and overwhelming. And then I'll turn to things like aromatherapy or deep breathing or going outside to feel the sun on my face when I feel like I need them and not just as a part of my day-to-day routine. And I would like to get in the habit of doing things like that as part of my day-to-day routine, spending time in nature and just feeling the wind and the sun and listening to the birds and the bugs. I feel like it's become really difficult in the digital age to just sit with all your five senses and let them do their thing without them being burdened by advertisements, or like even when we go on a walk we usually have headphones in, or if you're on the bus or something like that, the second you have a moment of free time that you're not working or talking to someone or doing something, you pull out a screen to look at instead of looking at your surroundings. So when I am talking about deliberate sensuality, I'm talking about making the choice in those moments of silence or stillness, or sit in the present moment and get in tune with my senses. Let things be slow and luxurious and sensual, whether that's sipping a cup of tea or flipping the pages of a book, or just like feeling into every moment. Like life is so romantic and poetic and beautiful if you let it be. I saw Caleb Heron posted a note on Substack. I think it was like earlier today that I was looking at, and it was like, actually, I have no interest in optimizing and speeding up the process. Like, I'm trying harder to make things as slow as possible or something like that. Which is so true, guys. Like, let's all just slow down. Hey, go slower. Stop making things more productive and faster and maximizing for profit or for productivity. Cut that out. It's ruining your life. As part of this goal, I also want to dance more in 2026. Guys, I just love to dance. And I don't feel like I'm particularly good at dancing. And this is not me trying to be like, oh my God, stop, guys. Like, I'm so bad. I'm not bad at dancing. I do think I can follow a beat, but I'm not like a dancer, I wouldn't say. But I did dance growing up in the sense that like I was in ballet classes and stuff like every other little kid. And then when I was a little bit older in high school, I was on like the kickline dance team. And then obviously in college, I was doing like Zumba style, like dance cardio workouts. And I even dabbled a little bit in pole classes in college. And last year I was just reflecting on it when I was making my New Year's goals. Like, I really didn't have any dance time. Like, every once in a while at like a party or at the wedding, but like I didn't have any good dance time. And I really feel like it's something that I'm missing in my life. Obviously, you can dance anywhere, anytime, but it is a lot easier when it's structured. So I'm making it a goal this year. I bought some like, this is a little bit silly, but I bought some like short heels that like lace up so that they are primed for dancing. And I'm going to make it a goal this year, once I maybe get my money up a little bit, to at least go to a couple of like hips and heels or chair dance or pole dance, like those kinds of classes. because I have really enjoyed them for the few that I did go to. And I think, yeah, dancing is just one of the best ways to, at least for me, is one of the best ways to be in your body and feel sensual and sexy and just like time rhythm with movement, with music. Like, I'm excited. I want to dance more this year, and I think we should all dance more this year. But yeah, those are my 4 goals this year. They might look a little bit different than yours, which is totally cool. But if you do have any goals for the new year that you would like to share, um, please let me know. I love to hear what other people's goals are for the upcoming year if you have them. Or if you're, I know some people wait until the spring solstice to make their goals, which is also totally cool. But yeah, let me know. And don't forget to check out my blog on Substack if you want to read more. And I will see you guys in the next video. Cheers.